Hello, the name is Regis Kilbin, and the game is Heroes of the Storm, and today we're going to go through my first impressions of the hero Gall from the combo Cho'Gall. If you're not familiar, Cho'Gall is a new hero being added to Heroes of the Storm, and it's actually the coolest MOBA character ever, I think, in that it's one body, but it's controlled by two players. We already took a look at Cho's abilities and talents, who is the left head, wearing the armor over here, and that player controls the movement of Cho'Gall. But now we're going to do Gall, who's like the damage assassin type character, who is completely at the behest of Cho, and it's going to be fun because there is a bot controlling Cho in try-mode right now, so I can't move around or control him, so we'll do our best looking at these abilities in action and testing them out. Unfortunately, I think we're not going to be able to see a lot, but without further delay, let's go ahead and look at his abilities first. Up first is Shadow Flame. This has a 3-second cooldown, so that's very short. Deals 390 damage to enemies in an area. Maybe we toggle minions. Yeah, here we go. This is nice. Turn that off for now. Okay, so it's like a basically an AoE skill shot every 3 seconds, so kind of similar to maybe Abathur's hat attack, if you want to think about it like that. But AoE and high damage, so that's very good. We don't have an auto attack, right? So that makes up for it. It's really good at wave clear, and it'll be good in chaotic team fights to some extent, I think. So there's also Dread Orb. Throw a bomb that will bounce 3 times, dealing 393 damage to all enemies. Okay, so this has a crazy targeting reticule, right? The way this works is if you aim really far away, it spreads out, the bomb bounces. See, it's going to bounce very low frequency. But if you pull it in close, this is the minimum it looks like here. It's going to bounce essentially in overlapping circles instead of spread out really far. So depending on what you're facing, and if you want to hit a minion wave and you're standing close to it, you can do it like this and kind of hit everything. You can also maybe predict where people are going to be or hit somebody who's really far away. That's a very long range attack if you look at it. So I can say, oh, maybe Arthas is going to run through here. We're going to get him on that third bounce. Yep, so I can tell you right now, just from playing with this, it's very awkward determining the range here. Let's turn off cooldowns. It doesn't feel smooth, like you're centered on the first ring, but you can kind of go outside the ring. It doesn't feel great. It's going to be very challenging to hit people with that. Plus, it just moves so slow. Granted, it does a lot of damage. It's potentially 1,200 damage if you caught somebody on every bounce, but I think it's so easy to dodge and predict that it's never going to hit that much. So, I don't love Dread Orb. I think it's fun, but I don't think it's very good. And then finally is Runic Blast. Okay, so we're going to have to wait for him. How this works is the Cho player will throw out a bomb that rolls along the ground, and we'll see that occasionally. Let's see if we can trick him into this. Uh-oh, we might just be dead. Oh, there it was. We blew it up and it detonated for 600 damage. Our Joe's gonna die because I killed him, but that's alright. Let's do this, Joe. Maybe we can get Malfurion in here to keep us alive a little better. Should have done that a while ago. So, throw a bomb, Joe. Alright, there goes the bomb. We're going to detonate it for 600. We hit 4 things for 600 damage. That's crazy. The area of effect on that is not small. It's not huge, but you could easily hit 2 heroes with that from time to time. You just have to trust your Cho that he aims well. It's great at clearing minion waves and doing siege damage as well. The cooldown is, I believe it was 8 seconds with some cooldown reductions if you're the Cho player. So we have cooldowns off. That's why he's throwing it so often, but still, every 8 seconds, 600 damage AoE is pretty scary. So now let's take a look at our talents for Gall. Level 1, Upburst, Shadow Flare, increases Shadow Flame's width by 50%. So you can see right now Shadow Flame is very skinny. And that is still very skinny. I don't know, if you're good at skill shots, you're going to hit it anyway. If you're not good at skill shots, you're going to miss it anyway. I don't think that 50% increase is going to make any difference for you. There's also Spurred Onward. Every time you damage a hero with an ability, reduce the cooldown of Hurry Up Oath by 2 seconds. Oh yeah, so I didn't do Hurry Up Oath. That's our V ability. It's a 45-second cooldown and increases Cho's movement speed pretty substantially. So that's hard to see while he's doing that, but anyway, this allows us to do it for 5 seconds. Oh no, it reduces the cooldown every time I do damage, so in other words, you just get to use it every like 10 or 15 seconds, right? If that matters to you, but I don't think that Hurry Up Oath is all that important. It's more of an escape than anything else, and hopefully you won't need to escape that often, so I don't have a lot of faith in Spurred Onward. Then there's also Eye of Kilrog. It's a place an eye, granting vision of a large area around it for 45 seconds. The eye can be killed by enemies with 2 basic attacks. So it's just Scouting Drone, but in the Warlock Fantasy, which is really cool. That's awesome. That's really, really neat. But it's just a standard Scouting Drone with a couple charges. It's fine, but I would rather take... well, these are all kind of utility. I guess Shadow Flare, despite being bad, might just be your best bet here. If you feel like you need the escape or you don't trust your Cho, maybe Spurred Onward could also be useful. At level 4, Bombs Away increases Cho's Rune Bomb range by 20%. So let's see if we can get him to throw this bad boy and get a comparison. Let's see, play along. So it went all the way to there. Let's try this and see if he throws it again. Alright, so yeah, you know, it gained a few character models worth of range. It's not that valuable in my mind. It's a great poke tool, I guess, if you can poke from a little farther away. That's not bad, but I need to see what else is available before we make a decision. There's also Siphoning Runes. Runic Blast heals for 20% of the damage dealt against heroes. So deals 625. We want to go back to level 20 to keep this
Choose a talent.
Reliable environment. So 20% of 600 is about 120, right? 120 point heal is not a lot if it hits one hero. If it hits 4 or 5, maybe it would be good, but rarely you're going to ever hit more than 2 or 3. So it sounds like it's going to heal for approximately 240 health, which isn't that great. When you have 8100 health, 240 is really not adding up all that fast, is it? And then finally there's a Double Back. Dread Orb's third bounce instead bounces backwards. Well, let's see that. And it's gonna bounce backwards. I guess that's really good if you're like dueling melee range characters or you want to create a tight spot. I feel like it's not strictly better though. There are some cases where you'd want a third bounce and some where you'd want it to bounce backwards. And it's not like you're going to catch your opponents off guard more than one time, so there's no surprise advantage. I don't like any of these talents. So far, all 6 talents have felt underpowered to me. I guess Siphoning Runes feels like the best. Just because a little heal is better than the other stuff that doesn't seem to distinctly help. Now at level 7, there's Edge of Madness. Increase Shadow Flame damage by 20% against nearby targets. The bonus is gradually reduced the farther away the target is. So we hit for 390 now. Went up to 467. It's really hard to get this reliable. So hit for 430, 390. He has spell shield up, so 467. So yeah, you can see that in action. It's 467 to 390 is a little extra damage, and that will add up since that ability is going to be going off pretty regularly. It's your main source of damage. So Edge of Madness feels all right. There's also Double Trouble. Shadow Flame does 40% bonus damage to enemies afflicted with Consuming Blaze. So Consuming Blaze is Cho's W. It's like an area of effect, burn, and this will allow us to do 40% extra damage to those enemies. I think that's actually really solid. He's going to be using Consuming Blaze pretty often, hitting multiple people. So I think the reliability for this one is going to be higher than Edge of Madness, just because even if they run away, they still have Consuming Blaze for 4 seconds. So you can hit somebody who's far away for 40% increase, as opposed to somebody who has to be right in your grill for a 20% increase. Admittedly, this one happens all the time, and this one only happens conditionally, but I think Double Trouble feels better in general. But there's also Dark Descent, increases Runic Blast damage by 5% every time you get a hero takedown, up to 20%. These bonuses are lost upon dying, so this is just gathering power. I think the risk is a little too large, just because even a 20% increase here just takes us to 721 damage, which in the scheme of things really isn't all that different than 600, right? The value is the area of effect, not the total damage burst. So if you have a good combo, you're playing well, and you trust your Cho, and your team is solid, of course Dark Descent, like all gathering power stacks, is going to be really valuable. But I do think Double Trouble and Edge of Madness are both fine. I'm going to try out Double Trouble for now. Alright, so for level 10 heroics, we've got Shadow Bolt Volley. Cooldown 60 seconds. Unleashes 20 Shadow Bolts over 4 seconds. So that's really rapidly. Each dealing 226 damage to the first target hit. The bolts fire towards your mouse. Wow! So if I'm reading that right, if there's 20 bolts and each does 200 damage, we're talking about 4,000 total damage, possibly? That seems crazy. Can this really do 4,000 damage? Wow, it can. Yikes. That's crazy. That's a lot of damage, but I will tell you that the targeting reticule feels very awkward for it. It's not smooth. There's like a lag. You can probably even see it as you watch my cursor move. It moves at a set pace. You don't get to move it, bounce it around. You have to follow its speed. So it's going to take some getting used to target that well. But goodness, if there's nothing standing in the way, the range is so long, you're bound to hit something. They really can't run away from it. It's really hard to juke without a distinct escape. So that's awesome. What is our other choice? Twisting Nether. That had a 60-second cooldown, by the way, which is super short as well. And then this has a 100-second cooldown. After 1 second, nearby enemies are slowed by 40% while you channel, up to 5 seconds. And then I guess at any time you can activate it to deal 780 damage. I thought the activation probably changed based on how long you'd been channeling, but it seems that it doesn't. You can activate it at any time for the full damage. Yeah, so it does 780 right at the beginning even. And at the end, it still does 780. So that doesn't matter. The channeling essentially is for the slow effect. And the 40% slow is really good. The area of effect is big. Man, in tight quarters, that's a very, very strong ability.
Do something about it.
I like both of those so much. They're both very powerful. I just might still give the edge to Shadow Bolt Volley because the damage output's higher and the cooldown is so much shorter.
Bombs away.
But it probably just depends on the team composition, whether you're a dive comp or a poke comp, because Twisting Nether's going to be better in a dive comp than a poke comp. Depends on whether you're winning or losing. There's a lot of factors, so it could go either way for me, honestly. So how about level 13? Up first is Rising Dread. Dread Orb, that's our W, does 25% more damage on the second bounce and 75% more on the third bounce. We need to hit some stuff here, so come on, be a pal, Cho. Get us close to some stuff. So 413, that whiffed, and then 722 on the final bounce. Okay, that's scary. That's a lot of damage for a 6-second cooldown ability. Still need to see the second bounce. 516 too. Yeah, that's, man, that thing pumps out damage. It's 413, 516, 920 plus, I think we said 713. 722, so you're talking about 1,600 total damage if you somehow manage to hit all three of those. The Cho who's smart and lined me up like parallel to the fort's means I could probably hit all, you know, the entire gate at once. That's a strong talent. You can just pump out so much extra damage that like that. Let's look at what else is available. We're at level 13. Speed of Twilight. When Dread Orb hits an enemy hero, gain 30% movement speed for 2 seconds. That sounds awful. We've already got the V, Hurry Up Oath, for movement speed. Cho has some movement speed talents. That just seems awful. Dread of Orb is already hard to hit, especially on a hero that can dodge it. 30% is not even that good. Speed of Twilight is trashed here. That is awful, especially compared to Rising Dread. And then finally, Dread Shield. When Dread Orb hits an enemy hero, gain a shield absorbing 584 damage for 5 seconds. That's probably not too bad, because if you're within range, you can usually, I'd say, hit a hero at least once reliably with the first bounce of Dread Orb. If you want to build really tanky, I think that's okay. I still maybe like Rising Dread better just for the damage potential. Gall is about damage, but it probably just depends on you and your Cho, and again, the team comp and the situation to really say. For now, I'm going to take Rising Dread. So, level 16. Twilight Nova is up first. After the first bounce, 2 extra bombs bounce to the sides once. Let's pick the talent first. Oh my goodness, that is visually confusing. So, I think you guys want to ask the same thing I do, which is, oops.
Choose a talent.
If you get Rising Dread into Twilight Nova, do the damages all stack? This is some crazy targeting. It did not appear to me that the damage stacked, right? No, it's still just hitting for 759, and that's because we're at level 22. So yeah, that's not that great of a synergy. It's already so awkward to aim, that makes it even more awkward to me. Twilight Nova. Giant Scorcher Shadow Flame also does 3% of a hero's maximum health. I like that. I just love stuff that does passively better damage. In my mind, that's just good. It's adding on 157 damage extra per 3 seconds. I'll probably like that talent just because it's easy and it's always going to be there. But then there's finally
Choose a talent.
Shove. Cooldown of 15 seconds. Nudge Cho a small distance in the direction you choose. Oh, that's pretty funny. This is like the ultimate troll ability, right? You could really annoy your Cho in no time. This has some viability though, just for engaging, making escapes, body blocking, like you can really get in front of somebody. People who use that well together could make Shove very good, but I think for the average person, Giant Scorcher is going to give you the most reliable, predictable, and consistent results. So that's what I'll go with. And then finally, level 20, let's take a look at the Nether Calls first. Increases Twisting Nether Slow by 10%. So it's already 40%, so that takes it to 50. That's good. It's not that much better than 40, but it's good. And then also the damage dealt is increased by 10% for every second channeled. So I didn't get to see that in action because I didn't click the talent. It's okay. So it does 750 by default. So let's see what it does after we've channeled it for a while. I also want to see, does it go off automatically when the bar expires, or does it just cancel? Whoa, 1050. Okay, so it goes from 750, it does an extra 300 damage. That's a lot. And the slow too, like it's really hard for people to get out of it. That's a good combo. Man. You can really shred people with that. I like it.
Choose a talent.
Makes me think just another stronger
Choose a
talent.
talent.
Well, let's see what the level 20 Shadow Fury has to offer. Shadow Bolt Volley hits all enemies in its path. So before it just hit the first enemy, right? Now it's gonna just go through and hit everything. Man, these ults are so good. I feel like Cho'Gall is all ults. Both characters' basic abilities are underwhelming, but the ults are all so good. That is nuts. Man, in choke points, you're just gonna destroy people. It's 4,000 damage to anybody that's standing in front of you and doesn't get out of the way. I like that too. I can't decide, guys. And then finally, our Storm Talent is Psychotic Break. Upon dying, you can continue to use abilities for 10 seconds. I really don't know if I can simulate this. I'm not even sure how that works. I guess your body just stays there?
Bombs out.
Like a psycho version of you? Until we die, we're gonna spawn a lot of, maybe I can nudge Cho to, go inside the gate here. I'm just trying to get us killed, remember? This has a purpose.
Bombs away.
And this is, one downside to the Cho'Gall model, certainly. It's interesting, you can't use nudge while, or shove, excuse me, while Cho is loading up his Q ability. That's good to know. I think we might actually just be better off to go trap him inside the fort. Let's go, dude. Wish I could think of a quicker way to kill myself. But I really want to see Psychotic Break in action, so I don't want to let you down. We gotta go, Cho. This is fun. Come on, we can do it, Cho. If this feels anything like this in a real game, it's gonna be very hard to be good as Cho. Or Gall, excuse me. Hopefully you have better luck with your partner in real games than do I. Okay, this should do it. He's gonna freak out and die. So continue to cast abilities after you die. Get me, Arthas, get me.
Bombs away.
Well, he used Molten Block. Great. It's a lot of help to mow down towers, sorry. Okay, so I can't control myself. I can actually still use my ult. Wow, where did I go?
Your killing spree has ended.
That was weird. Maybe because it's try mode and he respawns so fast. But yeah, it looked like I could use my ult and all my standard abilities, except of course Runic Blast. So that's interesting. But I wasn't mobile, so I don't think it's that good because you're not mobile rarely, unless you're just like on the core and want to pull a Tyrael and get a 1% core kill or something. It might be good, but otherwise these two are just too nuts to pass up. I can't even recommend a build because I have to play with these heroics in a real life scenario in a real game against real opponents before I know what to do. And this is bugged out now that I'm psychotic broken. Apparently I broke the game as well, so who knows. Alright, well that does it for my look at Gall. He's pretty fun. Again, it's so different and unique, I don't really know how to sum it up because you are reliant on the Cho part, and this is you're just kind of running co-pilot. But the abilities are still engaging and they require a lot of aim and focus, so it should still be fun to engage as Gall, even though you're not in control of movement. It's kind of like a super Abathur hat. And if you like that style of play, you'll definitely love Gall. And the potential in these abilities is nuts. I didn't feel as overwhelmed by the power of Cho's side of abilities, but man, the Gall abilities, particularly the heroics, are crazy. You can really pump out the damage, so who knows what's in store for these two guys. Thanks so much for watching. I hope you have fun playing Gall. Again, do check the description for my first impressions video of Cho. It's going to be fun seeing these guys in games and playing against them. I really can't wait. Thanks for watching, and until next time, game on.